JD Vance should be the next president of the United States after Trump finishes off this second term. JD is a very effective spokesperson for all the principles that you just espoused. In a way, Trump doesn't even try to be. You know, Trump is funny. Trump is entertaining. Trump is a great marketer and messenger, just in his quick, language where he boils down an issue to 5 words that even a 5th grader or a 3rd grader can understand. Very effective. Very, very. But JD can go really in depth on these issues and really give voice to all the things that you and I just discussed. And if you gave him a House majority and a 60-vote Senate majority, then he would get legislation passed. But right now, you can't pass anything. You cannot pass anything without 60 votes in the Senate, and we don't have it.
Yes, you might be thinking, this is all Megyn Kelly have this to say.
Let's talk about GOP. Is it JD? Because whenever Trump gets asked this question, he says, yeah, JD, yes, or Marco. He always throws Marco in there, who we love. But is there realistically any way that Marco gets it over JD?
Let's do a survey of the audience. I'm going to ask you all to vote by show of hands. If you're uncomfortable voting in front of the others, you can close your eyes as you vote. Raise your hand if you'd like JD Vance to be the nominee. Okay.
Universal.
Raise your hand if you'd like it to be open and someone else can be considered. Okay. Next to no one, right? So there's never been, just as there's never been a field as formless and as weak as the Democrats, at least in my career, there's never been a situation like this. Incumbent vice president, Bush, 41, Reagan's vice president. Not only did Reagan not endorse him until after the nomination fight was over, but literally at the endorsement event, you can go watch it on YouTube, on C-SPAN, he called him, I'm here to endorse my vice president, George Bosh. So he mispronounced his name.
Oh.
Gore wanted to run. Clinton made his life miserable. They wouldn't let him do anything. When Biden was vice president, Obama said, sorry, I'm endorsing Hillary. We've never had an incumbent vice president with the full support to do all the things he does. Overseas trips, domestic trips, political operation, finance chair of the Republican National Committee. So for those of you, many, who raised your hand about wanting J.D. Vance, I think he'll be endorsed by Trump. I think he may run as a ticket with Rubio. I don't think anybody...
Could we be that lucky?
I don't think anybody will run against him. And I think on the current trajectory, the Democratic nomination process will start in January of 28. I think on New Year's Day, he will have $2 billion in the bank.
Wow.
And no opposition. So does that mean he'll be the next president? No, but he's the odds-on favorite to not only be the nominee, but to be the next president today.
Yes, I was actually shocked when I saw CNN putting this out. JD Vance is the highest person, according to CNN, that is being eyed by everyone to be the Republican nominee in 2028. If you take a look at what Megyn Kelly said at the beginning of this video, that goes in line with a lot of people. During the American feast, a lot of people expected JD Vance to come out and maybe go after some people. He did not do that. He struggled to unite people. President Trump did not build a coalition by dividing people the more. He bring people together, and we saw the result. I believe this is a strategy JD Vance is putting forward. I want to ask you this question. Who do you think can be a better candidate than JD Vance in the Republican Party?
It's going to be Gavin Newsom against JD Vance because JD Vance is subhuman and Gavin Newsom mugs.
JD Vance is subhuman?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
He's got a very short total facial width to height ratio. He's obese, very recessed side profile, whereas Newsom is like 6'3" Chad.
So JD's very tall. JD's got to be
still
6'2", 6'3".
Gavin Newsom obviously mugs him to death.
So you're a Newsom head. You prefer Newsom to the vice president.
I'm just telling you who's going to win.
Do you prefer him though?
Honestly, it's hard to say, but Newsom being that much more of a mogger and like having a president who's like fat and especially that young.
You think I don't think he's fat.
I would say
he's a bigger guy for sure.
He's just like, it's just embarrassing. Like, how are you fat and you expect to like lead a country? You can't even be in shape, you know?
So you like let's say you got a vote. It's 2028.
I'm voting
now,
for Gavin Newsom.
You're voting for Gavin Newsom.
You can't be that subhuman.
So hold on. You got all right. Well, this actually is of a thread with the whole conversation, because you look at these two candidates. You have Gavin Newsom, worst governor in the country. I think we would all agree. Destroyed his state, let its main city burn to the ground because of his incompetence, is a personal, complete derelict, liar, degenerate. But he is good looking. I'll grant you that he's good looking. Yep. And it kind of looks like Patrick Bateman, American Psycho. Hey. And then you have this vice president to President Trump, the transformative right-wing president in our lifetimes, who, do you support Trump or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got this vice president handpicked by Trump, who is extremely intelligent, very right wing. I think he's a pretty good looking guy. I don't know. Maybe I guess you disagree. But he's all these things, checks all these boxes, would have all these great policies. And regardless, you're going to pick the mass migrant, pro-trans, pro-murder the babies, pro-burn the cities to the ground, pro-BLM Democrat because he's skinnier than the conservative vice president.
100 times over.
Yes, the only person that is coming up in the Democrat Party as of now, comparing with Kamala Harris and others, is Gavin Newsom. A few weeks ago, he was destroyed by this Hollywood actress. When you take a look at this, actress Halle Berry just ended Gavin Newsom's whole career for millions to see. He overlooked women, half the population, by devaluing us in midlife. He probably should not be our next president either. Just saying, do you support this? I saw Nicki Minaj coming out to go after Gavin Newsom. That should tell you a lot how people dislike this guy. I'm praying that he should run against JD Vance in 2028. Yeah, because that is the only person, Democrat, that I'm thinking he's brave enough, because he came on social media, started imitating Trump, going after JD Vance, and he came with this meme. It was a trend on social media. That should tell you a lot what is going on. Like I said, I really don't want to go deep into this now. We still have a long time to go. Let's observe. But as of now, JD Vance is the only person.
Back in my great state of California, my very own governor, Gavin Newsom, has vetoed our menopause bill, not 1, but 2 years in a row. But that's okay, because he's not going to be governor forever. And with the way he's overlooked women, half the population, by devaluing us in midlife, he probably should not be our next president either. Just saying. I need every woman in this country to fight with me. But the truth is, the fight isn't just for us women. We need men too. We need all of the leaders, every single one of you in this room. This fight.
Nobody is afraid of Jasmine Crockett because of her authenticity.
And that is actually what they are fearful of, is my authenticity, because it rings true with every single American, everyday people. And instead of talking about policy, when you're talking about the record speaks for itself, baby, let's talk about your record. Because the only reason you're the vice president is because the current president tried to have his last president.
This was Jasmine going off on JD Vance. When I look at what actually happened here, I had to laugh all through because it is funny. JD Vance is qualifying. Jasmine clicks well with Gavin Newsom, thinking maybe he will be the next president. That can happen. I've seen people that disagree with Trump, but they totally don't like Gavin Newsom.
JD Vance, 48% chance. Nobody else is even close. Marco Rubio is way back at 12%, and no one else is even above a 5% chance of being the 2028 GOP nominee. Primary, JD Vance, running 42 points ahead. There's a reason why he's such a heavy favorite in the prediction market so far, because if you win the GOP primary in New Hampshire, chances are you're going to be the Republican nominee for president.
I'm going to end here. I don't want to prolong the video. As of the short clips at the end, that is for the white algorithm. You can skip.
So, there you go.
$1,500.
Let's see if they get the.
Well,
I want to see them get it.
But, MAGA's going to break up because of Donald Trump's criticism of Rob.
Can sit at either place. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
You and your husband were friends with Rob and Michele Reiner, and Everybody knew that wasn't true.
A dangerous relative as a likely suspect, a tip that led to her brother Nick. Rob Reiner and Nick had a heated argument the night before at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party, being back on his own. In one interview, she said,
We should have said nothing.
The United States to take this family tragedy in which the president had made no comment.
When people ought to have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolute horror.